Fellows, welcome back to the More Than Average Men podcast. I am your host, Michael Benton, and you are watching or listening to episode 17. All right, I want to welcome you guys to another episode. Man, I'm super excited to be with you, not only because I just love, recording the podcast and kind of doing this type of thing, but it's 2024, man. Like, we're literally in a new year. I mean, 2023 just went by so fast. At least it did for me. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited because it's a whole new year to do new things, to try new things, to grow and just go after the things that we want in life. And obviously, we've been given yet another opportunity each day to go after our dreams. And so I'm super excited about that. Today I just wanted to share with you guys some things that I learned in 2023 and some things that I'm going to be implementing in 2024. And I just want to recap that with you. And really my intention with this particular episode is just to get you guys to be, if you haven't already, to be thinking or even recap or reflect on your 2023. And did you guys do what you intended to do in 2023? And if not, why? And what can you do to change that to make this year in 2024 even better? All right, so without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the first one. And so the first thing that I learned, man, and honestly, it wasn't something that I haven't known before. It's just it felt like in 2023, this particular challenge for me was amplified, and that was trying to do everything. But what I end up doing is I end up either doing nothing, or if I do end up doing it, I do it mediocre, right? I don't do it to the best of my ability. And I don't really know where that stems from, right? I've always been a type of person that really loves opportunities and trying new things when it comes to making money and hobbies and things of that nature. And so, I've found myself in 2023 where I wanted to, do the podcast and I wanted to, start a career in a particular industry. And then I wanted to try this and purchase real estate and just so many things, right? And what I realized again is that I can't do that. Like for me, I don't get any traction. I don't go anywhere. Like I don't succeed in anything, right? And that this year was something again that was so amplified because I was trying to do so many different things, and I end up either doing nothing or doing it very mediocrely. And so that's one of the things, man. I just learned about myself is that I need to pick one thing, right? I think for me, I just need to pick one thing and focus on that. And then once I kind of get that going, then I can jump around, right? But I've come to understand that me trying to do all these different things, it just doesn't work for me. And I've known that, right? It never has. But again, it's just it became so amplified this year because I was trying to do a lot of things because I was trying to create multiple streams of income, right? And trying to accomplish other things. And it's just something that doesn't work for me. Now, you might be on the other end of the spectrum where you are able to, in a sense, multitask or take on multiple things at once and still be pretty good at them, or you might be really good at them. I don't know, but I think that if you haven't taken the time yet to recap maybe some of the things that you struggle with, your challenges in your life, and it just doesn't have to be from last year, but just in totality. I think that's a great opportunity, especially, now that we're so early on in 2024, this is a great chance for you to kind of really, outline what are your challenges and what are the things that hold you back and really kind of understand what are the habits that you tend to just keep doing over and over again, but yet you're not really learning any lessons from. Like you keep tending to make those same mistakes, and you're continuing to get the same results. At some point, for some of you guys that and gals that want to, do better in your life and create more opportunities and make more money and all those things, you're going to have a coming to Jesus moment with yourself, right? And just be real with yourself and really, really outline, these are the things that are holding me back. These are the things that I need to work on. These are the things that I need to like completely get rid of. You know what I mean? So that was one of the things that I learned more so about or uncovered again about myself in 2023. The second thing is that I've learned is, and again, I guess I should go back and say that these things that I've known about myself, right? Like I've already known these. Again, it just became amplified. But the second thing was is that I'm a dreamer. I have a huge imagination. I could literally daydream 24/7. What's so funny is I'm talking to you right now, but I'm probably daydreaming as I'm talking to you. Like that's how bad I am. I don't know what it is. Like I've just always been like this visionary, I guess, if you can, if that's the right terminology, but where I can envision myself in these different scenarios, right? I can envision myself, I'll give you an example. Like I might get inspired by, there might be some type of like concert going on TV, right? Like, and I could like, if the crowd is hype and people are having a good time, and I feel that they're really putting on a good show, I could literally put myself in their shoes and I can see myself doing the same thing, right? And then internally I get inspired. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go buy a guitar and I'm gonna learn how to play guitar, or I'm gonna start writing music again. And it's just like, slow your brakes. You know what I'm saying? Like slow down. You know what I mean? Like it's not happening. And so it's kind of twofold for me. What I'm understanding is that it's a great thing if you're a dreamer, if you're imaginary. I think that's a good characteristic to have, right? Because when you want to do big things, you have to be able to dream and think of big things, right? You have to think beyond small minded, and so it's good in that sense. But I think that if you're not careful about being a big dreamer and being able to imagine yourself in these different scenarios and different opportunities, that could take off by itself, right? And that could leave you, grasping for, I don't know, the littlest piece of success, because you have these big aspirations, you have these big dreams, but you're not taking any action to move towards them. You're not doing what you need to do to make those actually a reality. You're just continuing to dream these things, and before you know it, if you don't really get a hold of that could, that crutch, you could be dreaming all the way into your 80s and never really have accomplished the things that you are dreaming about, right? So I think for those of us that are big dreamers, big imaginary people, big visionary people, I think it's something that we should be very proud of, right? But we should also be very cognizant and understand, okay, I know I can dream myself into any scenario. I can dream myself into being a CEO of this. I can dream myself into being whatever that is that you imagine or vision. But it's really getting yourself to hone in on, okay, what is it that I really want to do? Or what is it that which one of these visions or dreams am I like really passionate about, or like just really intrigues me, or whatever the case may be? Like, which one can I just focus on? And train yourself to do that, just to focus on that one thing. Because again, I could literally daydream at any point in time. It's a cool thing. It's awesome. It's lovely for a vision board. But when I want to actually accomplish some things, I'm kind of all over the place. So, yeah. I also think that I don't know if you guys know much about like Myers-Briggs test or personality test, but that's a big characteristic of someone who is an ENTP, right? You have to look that up. But basically it's like someone who's a thinker, a processor. Yeah, that's a big part of my characteristic. Number 3, my self-love and how I want to feel is too important to allow anyone to like alter that. You know what I mean? Like I realized in 2023, I don't know if you guys have listened to the other episodes or whatever, but for those of you that know, I've been divorced for a couple of years now, and that transition has been I wouldn't say hectic, but it's been challenging. It's definitely been challenging. And so, getting back into the dating game and, creating boundaries and things of that nature it's been a little tough. And so, towards the beginning of 2023, I really didn't put myself first in regards to, I'm just talking about, and when it comes to relationships, right? Like it was like, I was more entertained about being entertained and seeking attention, right? Things of that nature. And I noticed that type of, the way I was living my life at that time, or how I was operating when it comes to relationships, I wasn't really putting my self-love first, right? Like, hindsight, now that later on in the year of 2023, I got so much more better about creating boundaries and creating just these guidelines for myself. It's like, hey, if this person isn't caring and loving and is it interested in me and isn't a kind person, I'm not going to entertain that person. I'm not going to give that person my time. I'm not going to, put my focus and energy into that person. I'm not going to give them anything. You know what I mean? And so, I learned that, going through, certain types of relationships and just the way I was feeling, it wasn't feeling right. I was feeling like I had to, like I was chasing their attention. I was chasing, their comfort, their love. Right. And so, I hated that feeling. And so as the latter part of 2023, carried on, I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. This is my self-love is way more important. So if I'm not taking care of myself and doing the things that make me happy and bring me peace, and if I do happen to get into a relationship and that person's not doing whatever, right? They're not contributing to my peace and my happiness, I'm good. If you're creating the opposite of chaos and pain and discomfort, and I'm out. So that was one of the things that I learned this past year. And the last one, man, was the universe has my back. Definitely. So my spirituality, as far as like my faith, has increased phenomenally, in especially in the year 2023. I did a lot more praying, a lot more meditating. Really just a lot more allowing a higher power to guide me, right? I wasn't, previous to, really tapping into spirituality, just to give you guys a little bit of backstory, but I wasn't, it was just me. Like, I was like, hey, I'm in control, which I'm still in control of my life and stuff like that, but to a degree. But it was just like, I don't need to answer to anyone. Like, I'm just going to go, and, in 2023, I really turned that around, and don't misunderstand me that, I didn't put my faith into something and just let it be and just hopefully that it manifests itself. It was like, no, I'm going to put my faith in something that's higher than myself, but I'm also going to take actions, right? I'm also going to do my part in being able to create those results. But, I think that if you put out good energy and you ask for, for what you want, you shall receive it, right? And so, I had the opportunity to meet a really cool couple, Jerry and Katie Smith, who are mentoring me in business. There were times throughout 2023 where I really needed money. Like I was like, man, like, how am I gonna pay for this? You know what I mean? And lo and behold, I would ask for it. And I would, obviously take action, and money would come. I got just I'll give you an example. Just in the last 3 weeks, right? So, I had spent a bit of chunk of money on something that I need to get done, and I was like, man, like I took a chunk out of my savings, and no more than like a week or so later, I get a nice bonus check from work. I guess I overpaid on my mortgage payments as far as like my escrow balance. So they refunded me a nice chunk of money. And I'm just like, wow, So again, you can call it what you want. You can call it coincidence. You can call it like whatever. But, like I said, for me, it was just like, okay, well, somebody's watching over me. Something's working. You know what I mean? So, it's just, I just understand that because of that lesson that I learned, as far as like just having faith and truly believing in, and it, again, it wasn't because of those things that I got or the people that I met that I'm like, oh, now I'm a believer. I believed before, but when you, again, follow a certain type of faith and things happen for you, that really increases your faith in that particular area. And so that's kind of what happened for me. So, those are the 4 lessons that I learned about myself in 2023. my theme for 2024. So if you watch, any other people that talk about self-development, typically when they go into a new year, people talk about having a theme, right? So it's either a word or it's a mantra that you live by, that dictates your actions, and it dictates your decisions that you make for the year. And so for me, my theme for 2024 is focus. I'm going to focus on one thing that I want to do as far as business. And that is it, because again, I can get very scatterbrained. So my question to you guys is, what is your theme for 2024? I would love to know. So, please leave it in the comments or shoot me an email or text or whatever. I'd love to know what your theme is, in 2024. What are you going to go off of? I wanted to share with you guys also too quickly, some of the things that I was going to implement in 2024. That I believe will change my life drastically, right? Or at least in some small way. So I told you guys the first one. So the first one is I'm going to focus on one thing, right? So if I'll give you an example, if there's 3 or 4 different business ventures that I want to do, I need to narrow that down to just one. I need to create a funnel to where, money is either flowing in or clients are flowing in or there's some type of success in that one thing. And then once that's rolling and things are looking good, then I can venture off and let's try the second thing, But again, me trying to do 4 things at once, I'm going to do them either very shitty or I'm not going to do any of them at all. So I'm going to focus on just one thing this year and see what the results get me. See what all my effort and discipline go into that one thing. See what happens. Number 2 is I'm going to embrace my challenges and set a plan on how to overcome them. So for me, my challenges typically are, prioritization. So, what am I prioritizing, right? Like, what am I doing? Comfort. There are times when I want to come home and I just want to lay on the couch and I just want to binge watch Netflix. You know what I mean? And although sometimes that stuff is needed, totally, you gotta take some time for yourself, definitely. But I found myself probably doing it more than I should, right? So that's what I mean by comfort. So just getting out of my comfort zone when I want to just chill and relax, when I should be, creating content or doing whatever. And organization. I definitely need to learn how to time block. Like, that would be really helpful for me. I'd be way more efficient and effective in my day today if I just knew how to time block and really create some type of regiment for myself. So those are the challenges that I have for myself, and then just setting a plan to overcome them. How am I going to prioritize my day or my week or my month? What am I going to do when I feel like I'm being super comfortable and I don't really want to do what I'm supposed to do? Like, what am I going to do to get over that? You know what I mean? And then how do I organize my day, my week, my month in my calendar to where I'm set a regiment and I'm going to abide by that. And the last thing that I want to implement is to act as my higher self. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the higher self concept, but essentially what it means is it's like the part of you that doesn't focus on the doubt, the fear, the uncertainty in your life. Like, if you think about it, the higher self is like the highest version of you. Think of this person as they've done everything that you wanted to do, right? In a sense, right? So like they make all the right decisions. It would be like asking God, right? Or asking a genie who knows all the answers, right? Like some type of sage or something, like asking them like, hey, what should I do in this moment? Or what decision should I make with these choices that I have? And they'll always tell you the right choice. They always tell you the right thing. That's in a sense what your higher self is. So it's really just, acting and feeling and behaving in a way in which my higher self would act, feel, and behave, right? So it's like, if I don't feel like doing something, I would ask myself, what would my higher self do? And in that sense, my higher self has already accomplished the things that I want to accomplish, and they are where I want to be. And so if you guys are still unfamiliar with it, I definitely suggest that you guys look that concept up of your higher self. But, for me, it's just really living my day to day, making decisions and choices based on the higher self of me, right? And doing probably doing the things that need to get done that the higher self would do. That's essentially what it is. And so, those are the three things that I want to implement in 2024. I would love to hear what you guys feel like you're going to implement or want to implement in 2024. Either way, whatever you guys do, I think, I just hope that you guys make it your best year and you guys get up on the right foot. And again, we're all going to struggle. Essentially, right? We're all going to struggle at some point. It's going to get hard. We're going to try and create habits for ourselves, and we're going to fall off because of whatever happens. I think the most important thing that we can do is just get back on it, right? So if you're on a 30-day challenge for weight loss or whatever, and you get down to day 20 and you relapse and you have some cookies or whatever, and now you got to start all over again. Hey man, it happens, right? I think the biggest thing is that you continue going, right? You try again. You keep trying again. You keep trying again, and eventually, we'll get there. We'll create those habits. We'll create that discipline that we need, that consistency to reach the level that we need to reach to. So, yeah, man, that's essentially what I wanted to chat with you guys about. Hopefully, this kind of brought up some questions that you might want to ask yourself and maybe recap your 2023 and kind of see, what worked, what didn't work, what can you change in 2024 that will give you much more greater success in whatever areas that you are shooting for and striving for. So again, I appreciate your guys' support. Please, wherever you're watching or listening, please subscribe to the channel. If you are listening to the podcast, please go ahead and leave a rating. The more higher rating we have, the more viewers that we can touch and reach. And so I would greatly appreciate that. And as always, man, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks, fellas. Peace out.